everyone, Lizzy here. Today I have a sweet and simple Mother's Day card to share with you. I'll be using the large elephant from the new Critters in the Jungle stamp set and a small elephant from last year's Lovey Ton stamp set. So I'm going to start by using one of the stitched rectangle dies to just create a window out of my front card panel. And then I've gone ahead and die cut a larger rectangle from the same stitch die set just to give me a panel. I wasn't sure if I was going to be mounting this on a white card base or a colored card base, so I just wanted to leave my options open. So I'm going to go ahead and start applying Distress ink in the color of Peacock Feathers, and I'm going to create a gradient as it goes up, so it's a little bit darker towards the bottom and then lightens out as it goes up. So you can see when the window goes back on the card, it's a nice gradient of color. It will serve as a nice ground and a pop of color for the elephants. Now that the background of the card is done, I'm going to start working on coloring in the elephants. I went ahead and stamped them out in some Memento Tuxedo black ink, and now I'll start using my Copic markers to color them in. So you can see I laid down a base coat of my lightest color, which was N0, just to help moisten the paper so that all the colors blend nicely. And then I went in with my darkest color, which was N4, and I'm blending that out with the medium color. And then I'll take the lightest color again and blend everything out. Now with the gray markers, I always have a little bit of trouble getting a nice blend, so sometimes I like to add a little bit of extra dots where the shading is. It also gives the image a little bit extra texture, but then of course it also hides the lines where I didn't blend very well. So I like to do that sometimes with the grays, especially for critters, to add the extra texture. So that's what I did here. And now I'll start coloring in the largest elephant, and I'm going to color him in sections just because it's such a large image. I want to make sure that the ink stays nice and wet so that everything will blend together. I'll be using the same colors and the same technique as I did for the smaller elephant. Alright, now that everything's all colored in, I'm going to use the coordinating dies and run that through my Big Shot to cut them out, and then I will set them aside for when I'm ready to assemble the card. So I'm going to start working on the sentiment now. I've chosen some pink cardstock, which I thought coordinated nicely with the turquoise background and the gray elephants, and I'll be stamping the Lovey Tons sentiment, which is from the same stamp set, with some Versamark ink, and then applying some white heat embossing powder over that. You can see my heat embossing powder looks a little bit cakey and cream colored, but I think it's just a little bit too much moisture here in Hawaii. So it still works though, still embosses in white, so I still use it, but that's kind of why it looks so funny. But anyway, I'm just gonna heat that up with the heat tool, and then that will emboss in white, and I'll set it aside. So I'm gonna start working on assembling the rest of the card. Here I have that background that we did, and then I will put the window on top of it with some foam adhesive. And then I'll just press that top panel down so that it's adhered nicely. For the sentiment, I went ahead and trimmed the right side of the banner, and then for the left side, I am just cutting a fishtail edge so that it has a little bit of extra interest on the card. And then before I adhere that down, I'm going to take some yellow lawn trimmings, which I thought was just another nice color that coordinated with everything on the card. And I'm going to very carefully peel up that top panel, and then I will tie a bow on the edge. So to adhere the sentiment strip, I put some foam tape on the edges, and then the twine will nestle right in between the tape so that it still is able to lie flat while lying on top of the twine. And now I will adhere the elephants with some foam tape, at least for the large elephant. Figure out a good place for her, and then use just some regular liquid glue to adhere the smaller elephant. And as one last finishing touch to the card to kind of tie all the colors together, I'm just going to adhere the little flower, which is also from the Critters in the Jungle stamp set, right onto the large elephant. And for the inside of the card, since it is a Mother's Day card, I'm going to stamp Happy Mother's Day, which is from the older Mother's Day stamp set. And I'm just stamping that in some black licorice ink, which is that nice crisp black ink from Lawn Fawn. Alright, so here is the finished card. It's a pretty simple card to make, a sweet card to send to your mom on Mother's Day. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Happy Mother's Day. Thanks for watching.